ridiculous is this? Hello, welcome, as the title of this video would suggest, to the new MrJWW HQ. I kind of can't believe that those words are coming out of my mouth, but here we are. I've been building this up for a while. Those of you guys who have been following the journey online, this is what Project 4 was all about, and we're finally here. First of all, I want to set some context. We are in an ammunition store in an old military building on a location called Bicester Heritage. It was an old RAF base. In a minute, we're going to walk around with a guy called Philip, who's part of the Bicester Heritage team. His knowledge about this site is incredible, and it's really going to set some context as just to how magical this place is. Also, you've no doubt read in the title as well that, yes, I now have access to our own racetrack. We're going to share that with you shortly. But first of all, let's have a walk and talk around this new space and explain why we're here and the future of this channel for you guys. So first of all, why do we need this space? Well, if you've been following the channel for a while, you'll probably notice that every time that I start the filming or review or feature of any car, I'm typically inside it driving. The reason being, I don't have a base of which to begin filming a car. So I've always filmed it from the inside and just taken you guys along for the journey and started explaining it from there. What I would have loved to have done is given you a sort of walk and talk around the car, all of the sort of specs and features that make these things special, and then taking you for a drive. The problem is, where I'm based, it normally involves me trying to find a quiet lay-by, which don't exist, or an empty car park, which doesn't exist, and the backdrop always kind of sucks a bit if it's raining, so I really needed a base to start car reviews from. This area is located on the doorstep of the Cotswolds. For any of you guys watching outside of England, it is sort of quintessential, beautiful Britain. We've had some incredible roads about 10 minutes from here, but the USP of this place is, of course, that we have access to our own track. We've got our base, which will double as a studio. We've got areas for beautiful road driving and reviews out there. And then afterwards, we can come down and give a full shakedown at full speed on our very own track. And eventually, we'll set lap times and benchmarks to really immerse you in what these cars are like. So to have access to our own track from a content point of view is incredible. And that's something I really want to address from the outset. I'm marking 2020 as this sort of benchmark period now to really step it up for you. Everything we do on this channel is audience driven first. So I'm thinking, how do we step this up going forwards to be able to create content that no one else is doing? Our own track, beautiful HQ, a place to start filming from, and just an identity that solidifies what the brand is all about. Now, in a minute, when we take a walk around the site with Pip, we'll be showing you the incredible space on this amazing airfield where Bicester hold events throughout the year. So straight away, what we have here is access to incredible amounts of petrol head footfall. They're Sunday scrambles they do, which often take place on the first Sunday of the month. They have footfall of around about 10,000 people. They're all petrol heads. The great thing for us is we can open that door and let the audience really step inside the JWW experience and immerse yourself in what this brand and lifestyle is all about. So we're really excited to build this space into a beautiful lounge. Okay, don't think I wasn't going to address the elephant in the room or the Koenigsegg in the room, as the case may be. This is an appropriate opportunity to start talking about team. So the other reason that this place exists is that because we're looking to grow the JWW team. This world has just exploded. I didn't expect it to gain the kind of traction that it has, and it's just reached a point where I effectively can't do everything on my own. In a minute, we'll show you around the other half of this building where we have a lovely sort of creative studio space next door where we will be installing team. But on that point, through this wonderful world of cars, I've met some incredible people, and a very good friend of mine who has an incredible collection of cars has joined the team. He's come on board to effectively give us access to cars which otherwise would be effectively inaccessible. This Koenigsegg Regera just so happens to be the UK's first registered Regera, and there's plenty more where this came from. So I'm always thinking of audience first, and I want to step it up in terms of access to cars. But that, for me, is just a sample of the way we're stepping things up this year, and that leads me on to team, which leads me on to the next part of this building. Okay, onwards to the next section. Yeah, this is the next phase. Me not having the manpower and hours to scale this world. You might notice that the JWW website has been dormant for the last 12 months, and all of these elements will require a team to help us get there. Also, we couldn't share the first video without taking you around the track for the very first time. I've never actually driven it. Conveniently, TDF's parked outside, so we'll take you for a spin around the track later on in the video. Okay, so it's early January, so it's no times for drinks on the terrace right now, but you can imagine, look at this vast space of epicness. It's going to be so good. Come summertime, we're going to be able to hold events here during scrambles. I know Bista invites people up here as well, so we're going to be able to get people up here. But really, it's just another additional bonus space. Also for filming, it's really, really cool because you've got a whole view of the whole site from up here. Right now, it is a little bit chilled because everyone's just coming back from New Year. Come over here. This is where the opening shot that you saw at the beginning of this video is filmed, just to give you an idea of the kind of view that we've got. When we get modern classics or any cars from brands to film and review, I've always struggled to find locations to photograph them, never mind film them. This place is gold for it. Everywhere has so much character. There's loads of exposed brick walls, hangars, there's massive hangars from the war here for fantastic photo shoots. And then you can look over here. Not only can you see the cars which will be available on any given day, but just through those trees there is the race circuit. So when I say we've got a track on our doorstep, I mean we got a track on our doorstep. This is the famous Philip that I've been speaking about. What would you say? What's your official title?
I'd say marketing manager.
Marketing manager.
His official title.
As I've been abbreviating him to Pip since I've known you. So,
yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you for welcoming us to the site. I thought it'd be awesome to get you involved in this because I've never met a man so knowledgeable about a place. So, yeah.
Geeky, I think, about a place as this. We're at Bista Heritage, and I suppose the best way to describe this place effectively is a business campus in its essence.
Yes.
Just a very different business campus. So we're entirely focused on automotive culture, and for us that means anything exciting, really.
So if it's got an engine and wheels,
then we're all about
good to go.
Yeah. So
sounds like my kind of business park, man.
And so we've created this place with over 40 specialists, and each specialist is what we would say is an inch wide and a mile deep in what they do, which means you get some super automotive geekery here, but guys who are really at the top of their game and know exactly what they're doing with the most incredible bits and pieces on cars. But I suppose what we're not discussing is what's going on behind us. And we're a business campus, but we happen to be a very good-looking business campus.
Yes.
And we're based at what was RAF Bista.
Phenomenal
and
backdrop.
it was a place which was built in about 1916 initially. So the First World War, they had canvas tents and pretty basic facilities, but an amazing airfield.
Yeah.
And then in 1926, they decided to build what we see now. What's behind me here is the motor transport yard.
Let's go check this out.
Go and have a look.
This arguably might be my favourite spot of the yard. I think it's
kind of
mostly because I can sort of relate to most of the cars here.
So the MT yard was kind of the hub for the RAF's fleet maintenance, I suppose. So all these garages here used to have big trucks in the end there. They had a massive ramp in the floor. And then you had little stations around the sides here for them to store their vehicles. And we've been through this site. The last 5 years, we've been restoring these buildings. And we've gone into serious detail with them. So all of the colours you see around you, these various greens and the ivory, they're all correct to 1920s British standard spec. We put 200 hours of research into the colour palette alone. And then behind you, Sports Purpose, so a Porsche specialist based here. So you're familiar with these guys.
Yes.
Ahead of us is their glitzy store. So this is a very beautiful space for them, which is we didn't want to take the character away from the building.
Sure.
So if you look at the walls, you can see there's the best part of 80 years worth of paint that's kind of flaked off over the years.
So good.
So we brushed it all down by hand.
Amazing.
Clear sealed it.
Yeah.
And so if you look at little bits of the walls, you can see the details of where guys have graffitied, RAF workers have graffitied.
How magic is that, huh? That's so
the
cool.
history's there. Up to you.
Thank you, sir. So what's special about this car? You'd be forgiven for thinking that the paint job was only on the outside of the car, but if you're able to poke your lens through here, it's matched throughout the interior as well. So all of these bands painted on the inside and outside. It works really well because with it being a race car, predominantly the interior is completely stripped out, so you get to see all of the sort of bare chassis, and this paint theme continues through it. It's so awesome.
Behind us is the old guardhouse. So this was the entrance to the site. And in kind of typical British military style, you have the boss's office on the right as you drove in. So if you're in trouble, you'd be sent there for bollocking. That's where you go for your dressing down. And if you're in serious trouble, you'd be sent into the guardhouse for a night in the cells.
Oh dear.
So the cell block is still there on the back.
Really?
Yeah, with an exercise yard.
No, that's so cool. Wow.
This is now the home of Bonhams. So
very cool.
Bonhams MPH have their auctions in one of the hangars here. This is their head office.
Right.
I don't know what they do with the cells. I haven't asked them. But yeah,
bad employees.
Oh yeah, customers that don't pay. I don't know. So we're on the Western Avenue now. So this is where we cut our teeth learning how to restore these buildings. And the old fire station here. In fact, we're standing next to 2 fire stations. So that,
I can't believe that was the original fire station.
Is the original 1926 fire station.
It was also your first office.
Yeah, our first office. So
I really thought you were joking when you said that was the first office here.
5 of us in that little hut.
Nah.
So this is now the home of Porsche Classic Life.
What I really like is a minute ago we're walking past some independent exhaust fabricators, and then you've got a brand like Porsche next door.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's astonishing.
Does Blast House have a significant name, or is it just a cool name?
The blast house is what we called it because of the blast walls here. So you've got 3 seats.
It's a separate layer of...
Yeah. So this was the auxiliary power station.
Yeah.
So they had 3 big generators in here. And you didn't want the enemy to knock out your power. So they put 3 foot of concrete blast wall around this building and a double skin roof packed with gravel.
It's ridiculous.
Come in.
So cool. Thanks, mate.
Hi, Johnny. Say hello to you properly this time.
Actually, back again. How's it going? Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm jealous of your tiles.
Pendine are a classic car dealer. They specialise in fast road and track cars. All sorts of yummy things like, in this case, a lot of E-types by the look of things. We've got a couple of Bristol engine cars, the TRS, which was the TR4 prototype, and twice Le Mans entrance, through to quite a rare Series 1 E-type down here.
Casually got this lying around. Do you ever get a bit desensitized to being involved in all this stuff?
Sometimes, you do get a bit blasé about things. You sometimes you have to really pinch yourself,
Walking into the toy shop every morning.
Yeah. Wow.
The thing I love the most about being here is the breadth of specialists that are on site and the knowledge contained within them.
Yeah.
So we've walked through a few of the businesses today, but there's a ton of others we haven't explored yet, and we've got 100 apprentices on site.
Have you really?
100, yeah, between 2 apprenticeship schemes, all
That's pretty cool.
learning this trade for the future. And so we have a genuine opportunity here to future-proof the industry.
Yes. Awesome. Well, just before the sun goes down, I'm going to hit the track. I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth. The fact that we can say that is ridiculous. But mate, thanks for the tour. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. No doubt you'll be seeing more of Pip on the channel as things unfold. We won't give away too much yet, but the future of Bicester is very exciting. So as and when we're allowed to tell you, we shall. Okay, this is where things get really real. Because we are, well, we're taking the TDF on what is effectively our own race track, or at least test track. I wouldn't call it a race track. It's not that large, but it's large enough to have fun and set some times in the future. So, I'm going to just give you, well, you know what I'm about to say, a spot of context as to just how close said track is. So, leaving HQ here, and going to turn left, and then immediately right here. Oh, I've missed that sound. And then through this gate, and we are in the paddock before the track. And here we are onto the circuit. Now, these guys are setting up for Sunday Scramble, which is taking place in 2 days' time. So, for example, that truck there would not otherwise be on track. But here we are. And it's decent because there's plenty of runoff, which is always a bonus. We've got curbs here. Look at this. Wouldn't it be great to get you guys involved to try and come up with the names for the various different corners? But this is ridiculous, look. We aren't, you know, going to immerse you in the full track experience right now because, as I said, this is day one. This is the very first time which I've stepped foot on this circuit, but already I'm beginning to learn the characteristics of this place. What a machine. So this is a bit where we would really like to be hearing from you guys as to the possibilities and things you would do with your own racetrack, because that's effectively what we've got here. Good God. Forgot how aggressive this thing is. It's absolutely nuts. Oh, I don't want to give this all away at once, but so this is the end of the video. So this is where we recap effectively what's happening here. We've got the new JWW HQ. It comes with its own circuit where we're going to be able to test cars, shakedowns, showdowns, reviews, lap times, etc. We're going to be able to benchmark other cars against those cars on track. We're going to be able to dip into the Cotswolds, which is on our doorstep for beautiful reviews, countryside and scenery. And then it's all about growth, growing the team, growing the plans, growing the projects, and growing the content opportunities, which is ultimately what this channel is founded on. Content for you, the wonderful audience. This is phase one of a much larger project. What if I was to tell you that there's a project 5? While we're on this circuit, I think it's an appropriate time to call it a day, because as the sun is setting, so is this wee introduction and production. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to share this next chapter with you next time. Ciao.